All right, just a little past 8:30 on September 23rd. I'm getting my way out of Eauze. Rained most of the day yesterday, so the trail is likely gonna be soggy. It's good to have the extra day off, I gotta say. A little bit of smoke in the air. Little bit of smoke in the air, but I don't know what's going on. And hello there. Bonjour. Nice chow. Dog guy out walking his dog. So okay, 14 miles into Nogaro today. You know, good to get the extra rest, that's for sure. Blister, not a problem. A little bit of tenderness on that left foot. So I put in the other inserts that the shoes originally came with, a little more padding. So we'll just see how it goes. Kind of playing along. I had bought some Eauze inserts at a pharmacy. Not sure at the end of the day I needed to spend 20 euro on that, but that's okay. So that's it. That's kind of the plan. Legs feel pretty strong right now. And just getting out to do what I'm supposed to do, as we say. So I'll keep you posted along the way. The temperature is nice and cool, as I might have mentioned. Some cloud cover. And here we go. These are the little markers that are gonna guide my way. Get me from one spot to the next. Let's see what adventure today holds. I guess they're looking at me just like I'm looking at them. Like, hey, what are you all about? All right, random French chickens. Good luck. Hopefully you're there just for the eggs. I have no idea what is going on here. I'm not sure if it's X-rated or not. Well, the trail's been a little squishy, as they say. And, you know, kind of worried about a slip. Where, of course, one leg goes in one direction and the other leg goes in another direction. Which would not be so good. Unless, of course, it's like that old joke, hey, if my right leg is Christmas and my left leg is New Year's, why don't you come meet me between the holidays? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know who you are. The corn here is, from what I understand, mostly used for animal feed. At least that's what one of my walking buddies had mentioned a few days ago. A lot of the corn has already dried out, and then they seem to take it, right? But because looking here, the corn cobs themselves are still on the stalks. So, all right. Hey ladies, you guys hang around here much? Well, I say you got that, you know, you do have those big brown eyes. Really, that kind of, yep, blonde hair too. It's, well, there's a lot to be said for the look. Oh. Okay. I've been waiting days and days and days to make that corny joke. I tell ya. Every time I try to get the camera out to record either the French birds singing or these French birds that look like swallows flying around, they disappear or they stop singing. So I think they're probably like, oh, we do not want to be filmed. We don't feel like it right now. We're going someplace else. Excuse me, 10:40 in the morning. A nice walk so far. Stopped at this little place. It's a family, his young family. They just went off shopping. It's what's called donativo, right? Where you offer the price you think is right. And they have kind of a nice spread here. You know, they've got the water with the flavoring. Behind me, you might have seen the microwave, a little refrigerator. They sell some beaded bracelets over there. They have the family cat doing what cats do in the middle of the day, I suppose. And, you know, comfortable little spot. They allowed me just to grab a seat and have a snack or two. Then I'm going to have a little water. Back on it. Well, all right. I was going to do this whole little skit sitting on the tractor and then going dun 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 dun. Hey, guess who I am? But the seat is all wet, the ground is all wet, my bag would get wet, my butt would get wet, and it's probably not that funny anyways. But what's the answer? Eddie Albert, Green Acres. And if you've ever seen the entry to that show, you'd have to think, oh, he seemed like he was having so much fun on that tractor. What's it all about? Well, win a few, lose a few. Well, I'm pausing on my podcast of the American Revolution because I've heard in the distance the sound, that elusive sound of the French country bird. Previously hidden and keeping itself obscure from me, I think we're able to pause and delight at its cheerful sound. So there you have it, a small sample of the lilt and song of this likely small bird, keeping itself hidden and safe. So here we are. This country does not have trash, right? Generally, there's no trash. But the scourge of American culture seems to make its way not only into the food, but as the only piece of trash that I've seen, and couldn't even tell you how many kilometers and how long. Kind of a telling observation, I suppose. This is a really charming little French town, I gotta say. The church was closed. And I learned that Aire, I guess, is City Hall. So there's lots of what look like Tudor style, even with mud and straw. I guess that would be what, by our standards, adobe. Building materials. I took some photos on my phone with it. So, when they say they're going to really put the screw to you, that's what they mean. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be here every Tuesday. Well, just to touch back, there was a woman by the side of the road, a hiker, pilgrim as it were. She was trying to flag down some drivers to, oh, that's a fake one. Look at that. Faked me out. Anyways, she was trying to flag down drivers and get a ride. She spoke enough English and Google Translate worked in the middle. So she's having problems with her knee. I gave her 2 Advil for right now. Surprised she wasn't carrying anything like that, and 2 Advil for later. And suggested that she call a cab, go back to the city hall, the city center, which we just showed a little bit ago. And that's what she was going to do, 10 kilometers, you know, what, 6.5 miles thereabouts into Nogaro. So, all right, maybe she'll do that. Either way, the walk remains, the temperature remains cool. Clouds are forming, but it does not look or feel like any rain, and it's not predicted to do so. So, there we go. Just keep at it. Well, hello there. I know. I don't have any food, I'm afraid, my friend. Yes. Well, whatever I could offer you probably is not as good as eating, well, it's probably better than eating grass. All right. Well, thank you for coming on over nonetheless. Oh, looks like your buddy's on his way too. I got an idea. How about you give me a ride? All right, whatever. All right, gentlemen, or ladies, I'm not sure. I'm not going to look. I will have to leave you from here. So the French do a curious thing, which is put these little mementos, comments, remembrances on people's graves. It's actually kind of a nice touch, I think. Well, I think that, if I could read correctly, that this was a church, no kidding, but also a hospital for pilgrims. Because, frankly, there is nothing else out here. And you kind of got to wonder why it was built here. So I'll try to read up on it and put a little bit of commentary in just to help it make a little more sense. So, 2 o'clock. At the rate I'm going, I'm gonna get there next Tuesday. And I've just been taking my time today. I have been stopping more frequently, taking more videos, just trying to enjoy the walk and make it a little more interesting for myself as well, and maybe for you guys for that matter, with more content to see and hopefully more interesting content to see. So I would like to think that I'll roll into Nogaro around 4 o'clock, unless of course David Attenborough finds his way back here. So all right, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I felt like that without the smile. So there's a artist, I guess, that's in town or that lives nearby that takes these photos of walkers on the trail. So I suppose representing the different types of people and different moods and expressions that they have going on. And it's certainly interesting. Greenwich Meridian. I wonder if that's true. Hey, it's Judi Dench. Well, that seems to be about the end of it. So I guess we just keep going straight. Well, you can see the 2 bicyclists ahead of me. At first I thought, I don't know if that's smart or cheating. Because some of these trails are, as you can see, a little tight. So, all right, Athena, if it was you, what would you do? Well, and just like that, they were gone. Effortlessly gliding down this street path. And me, well, one step at a time. So in that sense, I guess they're smart. All right, 3 o'clock, and I got some Aerosmith going on. Train kept it rolling all night long. And also, what I'm sure is the first glimpse of Nogaro. So that's where I'm getting at. And hopefully we'll be there in about, I don't know, 30 minutes more or less. So let's see how it goes. Well, I guess that's where you get your dog customized. You know, it's a nice welcome into the town. Kind of quiet. But let's see what they have going on in the city center. All right. Well, today's the 23rd, I think. Didn't check. Days seem to just blend together, for that matter. Got up a half hour early, but didn't get out much earlier. 17 miles today, longer day, but easier walking. Only really one significant up and down. So, you know, there's a line of people behind me, all like a bunch of gray-haired turtles, slowly making their way out of town, pointed in the same direction. Slept okay last night. Tried to make my reservations in Bilbao, which I did, and then realized later, oh, wait a minute. I want to stay there and look at the town and go to Guggenheim. So, looked at the property again for the next night, but it doesn't look available, so I may have to do a little joggle, and okay, fine. But I emailed the property just to see if they might have availability. So we'll see how that plays out. You know, I get into Aire de la More? I obviously don't know. But that's the destination today. So reportedly not a lot of support along the way. I'm well stacked up on water and food. In fact, I'm a little heavy on my food. So, you know, the intention though is to never get caught short and be able to eat out of the bag, which I'm gonna have to do. Even more so than I have been, just to, again, knock off a pound or two along the way. That's kind of the report for the morning. We're gonna see what the day holds. The intention and hope for the day today is entertainment. So let's see how much fun we can have. Let's have an adventure. All right, been on the trail here for just a little over an hour, and I was keeping a pretty quick pace of it. So I've slowed it way down. In part, I wanted to get away from all the other people that were behind me, but I just couldn't shake them loose. So I just decided to slow it down, make it comfortable, and fine, take my time and enjoy it. So that's kind of the idea. Looking for a little spot to sit down and take a break, drink some water, have a little snack, do all that. So we'll keep going. Sounds like fun. Well, it's 11 o'clock. Day is starting to warm up a little bit. Very little cloud cover, so I got the sun hat on, as you can see. Kind of a tired little church back there, but you know, still, I'm sure it's sincere, and so are the parishioners. So from what I understand, I'm entering the land of the corn. A lot on this stage is cornfields. The walking is not particularly hard. In fact, the last handful of kilometers are considered just kind of boring because of all the cornfields, you know, not much to see. I did figure out that today is actually the 24th, not the 23rd, so, you know, I'm close. The place in Bilbao does not have accommodations for the second night, so I'll have to find another spot because I do want to go to the Guggenheim. That was a goal. And I just didn't think of it when I was looking for reservations the first time. So, you know, adjust. Gonna kind of keep to a comfortable pace, but also one that doesn't get me there at 9 o'clock at night. So, that's the plan. And we'll see how it goes. All right. Okay, now this is some major suckage. It's 11 o'clock. I normally will get onto my Spotify podcast about the American Revolution, and no Spotify. I thought I had plugged into it before I left the last place, but I guess not. I don't know what happened there. So that's kind of blows. No Spotify for the whole trip, you know, at least today, right? So, all right, just make the best of it, and obviously have to just keep going. You may have video of me singing to myself, which you would have wished for Spotify. Oh well. Let's keep doing it. Well, coming on 11:45, gonna be looking for a little spot to sit for a minute, drink some water. You can see the Pyrenees in the distance. You know, they're getting closer, no kidding. It was never my intention to go up and over them. At first I had thought, well, okay. What does this say? Oh, so about 30 minutes on the GR65. And they have toilets and water. Oh my. Impasse de bidet? Bidet? I don't know what that means. So anyways, it was never my intention to go over the Pyrenees. My first thought was to go over the Pyrenees and walk into Pamplona and then take a train from Pamplona to Bilbao. But when I laid the days out, and the following days after all of that, with no layover days at all, it just made for too long a time. I would have been finishing up somewhere around second week or more into November, and you know, accommodations are starting to shut down in November. So I really didn't want to have, you know, myself stuck out there the last week with frankly nowhere to stay or few places to stay. So I ditched that plan and then developed another plan, which was, okay, walk into Saint Jean Pied de Port, which is the idea, and then take a bus or train or both, as it ends up being, over to Bilbao. So that will bypass the Pyrenees, and the most difficult part of the Norte. I really didn't want to go through all those big ups and downs. You know, frankly, just putting in the long distance was good enough for me. So that's the plan as it stands. I have accommodation for one night in Bilbao. I have my train ticket, my bus ticket. So I got to take a train from Saint Jean Pied de Port. Make sure I'm on the right spot, not talking and not paying attention. All right, I'll keep walking and look for my marker. Okay, here's a scruffy dog. Anyways, there we are. There's the marker. Good. So, take the train from Saint Jean Pied de Port to Bayonne, then got to walk across the river, and then pick up a bus, which I bought the tickets for last night. Total pain in the ass to get it figured out, but I did. Into, oh my God, that's right. See, this is the problem. Oh, I bought the train tickets and all that, the bus ticket for just the next day. No, I'm all right. Okay. All right, little brain lapse right there. Okay. Yeah, just keep walking. You know, that's the easy part, truthfully. The walking is the easy part, all things considered. All the planning and the logistics and the emails and the then going on booking.com, you know, and the laying out so many miles and so many stops. That seems to be more the hard part than really, frankly, the rest of it. But, you know, I had chosen to not pre-book all the way down the line. So that's kind of the plan. All right, let's see how it goes. Well, coming into this little town, oddly enough, here's a car. There it goes, obviously. Coming into this little town and pull over, grab some lunch, and just let my legs relax, drink some water, do my thing. There's a church here, so get a chance to stop and, see what that looks like. All right, more to follow. Well, not sure what happened here on March 19th, 1962, but maybe I'll look it up later and add it to some commentary. The church right up here on the left. Get a chance to go inside if it's open, and I'll just enjoy taking a little break for a minute. Well, had a nice lunch sitting over under a tree there, and decided to take a little rest, so kind of stretched out on a bench over there for the last 35 minutes. Kind of dozed a little bit, very, very helpful. Could not get into the church, so obviously it set me back time-wise, but very helpful and relaxing. Nice day, breeze, clear, temperature's good, but I got the hat on because there's no clouds and it's going to be a lot of sun. So let's make the final push and finish out the day. All right. I don't know what happened, but I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna give Spotify a try again. And for whatever reason, you know, the app came up, and whereas it wasn't before, I was just getting a black blank screen and no change there. So I am back in business. I'm gonna pick up on my Revolutionary War podcast and then get to my music. So I guess the intention of the day was entertainment, and I guess that means for me. So that's about it. It's just this kind of a trail. I've been that was the walking party that was coming out of town when I was this morning out of Nogaro, and so we've been leapfrogging all day long, and you know, a lot of chat going on over there, so it's a little disruptive. So anyways, I think I've got at least a few hours left to go. Yeah, probably at least 2 plus 2.5. So as always, gonna try to make the best of it. Here we go. A little hard for me to follow this in the viewfinder on the GoPro, but I hope I'm getting it. Sure looks graceful. I can see I'm just outside of town, hopefully about half hour away. Taking a little break here. Well, here I am coming into town. This really has the feel of, you know, a modest-sized city, I guess. A lot of traffic. This is the main drag. Really beautiful bridge here. It's now 5 o'clock, which is kind of what I had predicted earlier today. And all these international flags. Interesting to see. Wait, but there's not a US flag. I wonder why that is. One can only guess. Well, gonna make it into the center of town, take all my stuff out, look up the Jeep, and get myself over there, because boy, could I use a shower. Oh, that's so funny. 2 US old, what looked like US police cars on the side. It said "to serve and protect," an Oldsmobile. Too bad I missed it. Oh well, trying to get the artsy shot of the river. Well, here we are on, I think it's the 26th. And I'm in Navarrenx, which I had wanted to see, a walled city. You can see the ramparts here. Nice, cool, kind of overcast morning. I got in a little too late to really be able to walk along the ramparts, as is kind of one of the things to do apparently. But it sure does look pretty cool, I gotta say, even this little bit. Well, it's 9 a.m. and wanted to get in a few extra pictures of Navarrenx. Cool morning, a little bit of fog it looks like. The procession of turtles is leaving on the trail, of course. A fair amount of Germans actually. Interestingly enough, I don't know. Kind of a, not a straight shot as in a straight line, but the hiking's not supposed to be too hard today, which I'm glad about. 14 miles, Bohoteguia. I obviously probably never will pronounce it correctly. So, loaded up on food at the store. So I'm carrying a little heavy, loaded up on water because there's not supposed to be that much water support along the way. So, just kind of getting started. Got my socks on the back of my pack so that they can dry in the sun when it comes out as I'm walking along. So there we go. Here's a little bit of the scenery ahead. Not too exciting, but just so you get a flavor. Guess everybody's off to work doing their regular stuff. But, oh wait. I'm retired. Okay, David, where are you? Oh, excuse me, Jeff, Mr. Retired. I'm 92 years old. Give me a break, would you please? You were just listening again to the charming trill of that country French bird song that whistles and makes the walk that much more enjoyable. So I passed a sign just a little bit ago that seemed to indicate this was or is, a national forest. Forest for the community, I think, if I understood the sign correctly, by the, I don't know, Forest Service or something like that. Maybe I'll look that up and see if that's true, but it's a very pleasant walk. Well, this looks like just as good a place as any to stop and take a break, but I'm a little curious what is around the corner right here. Okay. It's a little muddy. Oy. Well, I guess no California. Didn't make the list. Well, it's coming up on 11 o'clock and the weather still remains quite cool. Let me let you kind of see what the path looks like. Just walking through forested area, little bit of road, not a whole bunch. It's really quite pleasant. Two folks up ahead of me, two folks behind me. And it's about time for revolutions. So let me plug into that and find out what happened, because I'd like to know. Oh, look at that. As you can see, the signs are now changing from just French to also Basque. So it looks like 48 kilometers to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, 780 all the way. And this is the place I'm going to be staying at tonight. Should hopefully be there soon. But what's interesting is that these are the Gîte billboards. So as you get closer to town, they start putting up all the signs. And it's pilgrim billboards. Well, here we are, 2 o'clock, a bench up at the top of that long climb, which was very thoughtful of them to put it here. And you know, I thought I'd just take a minute and kind of recollect and maybe even report back a little bit on what I've learned so far. So, you know, part of my commentary in the beginning was that it wasn't just going to be all the glossy side of this, that I was going to like keep it real, you know, during my video segments. And in my mind, what that was kind of putting in the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the somewhere in between, right? You know, that like, oh, going uphill and going, oh, my goddamn feet, and how come it's this, and why is it that? I didn't do a whole bunch of that. in part because when I was in the middle of it, the last thing I wanted to do was to stop, take out the GoPro, set it up, start complaining, stop, put it all away, go back, start walking, start complaining again. So it just kind of, you know, moved through it. All right, fine. And what's also true is that, you know, I still have the Norte ahead of me. So I've learned a few things, which is, number one, you know, I've got myself to this point, one way or the other. You know, the reservations, as I commented, were a little bit of a surprise and a little bit of a challenge. But, you know, I had been able and have been able to book myself, you know, a good 3-4 days in advance, which gives me good peace of mind. Even if I have to pay a little extra to make sure that I've got a spot, that's okay. Now, again, I'm going to be moving into the Norte, so things may change, I don't know. You know, I learned another thing, which is the French kind of have this idea that this is really a walk, and you stop and you have a nice lunch, and then you go with your friends and you have conversation along the way, and you really kind of take it slow and enjoy it. And it reminds me of what that one farmer I met, you know, I don't know, 10 days ago. And he's like, oh, you're going all the way? Well, you gotta go slow, you know, take care of your legs. And most of the French have been traveling in groups. And obviously they'll sit down together and they'll, you know, chat along the way, and then they'll sit and chat during lunch. And okay, on the one hand, I can see that it would be very, very nice to have somebody to have conversation with, and just kind of, you know, the miles are a little easier. And also, you know, as an avowed introvert, I'm pretty fine just kind of doing my own thing, and I'll put in Spotify every now and then, and okay. I've also learned that the French love their gates. All the houses, they have gates. I mean, big houses, little houses, having a gate. You know, an opening gate, right? That, no, it's only closed. You know, these electric gates, I guess, is what I mean to say, right? Not like you have to get out of the car and you know what I mean? You click it like a garage door opener and the thing opens up. All right, fine, or dropping acorns off this tree. But boy, they love their gates. So I don't know what that's all about. Another thing I think that I've learned is really kind of flexibility. You know, when you sleep in a different room, in a different bed every single night, you just kind of go with it. Yet there's a routine that happens, is that you roll in, you drop your stuff. Typically the host gives you a little glass with some mint in it, and you just kind of relax. Get your stuff out, you take a shower, for God's sake, wash your clothes, put them out to dry, right, so that you can get as much sun as possible, and then relax and have some dinner. And it's this weird thing. It's kind of like you rest, and then you feel good enough to go ahead and do it the next day, and kind of forget how sore your feet were and how tired you were, but you have rested well. And that's what I think allows the longevity of the trip. So, you know, all in all, a good time so far, which I've appreciated, and more yet to come. So I'll keep you posted. And you know what I say, go have an adventure.